Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm Richard Lyons, and I'm coming at you with another episode of the Lyons Den, and we are here, as always, in the Lyons Den. And as you may notice, I decided to switch up the aesthetic a little bit. Instead of sitting in the corner, I got some suggestions from my good friends Michael and Igal to maybe sit in front of the blanket with a lion on it, since it's called the Lyons Den. And I thought that was pretty smart. So thank you to you two for the suggestion. So today, we have three topics to get into. One, Sony and Marvel have announced a secret movie for a October 2021 release date. We're going to talk about that for a second. Then we got Thor Love and Thunder. Thor Love and Thunder has tapped on a new writer to come in and help Taika Waititi with the script. He's a busy man. I'm sure he has a lot on his plate. And then lastly, one of the stars of our favorite Avengers movies is apparently being in talks to star in a Parasite HBO series. Parasite, the one that just won all the awards at the Oscar, directed by Bong Joon-ho. Apparently he had a bunch of ideas that didn't get to make it in the film, and he wants to make it into a series on HBO. So that's what we're going to talk about today. If that interests you, please stick around. So let's get started. So the first thing I mentioned was Spider-Man. Apparently Sony, and I said Sony/Marvel because it's still a Marvel property, but this is Sony doing it. This isn't one of their Tom Holland team-ups, I believe. This is just like a Sony movie. Apparently they announced a October 8th, 2021 release date for an unannounced movie. And I have the tweet right here from Exhibitor Relations Co., who I don't know who they are, but everyone seems to be taking this as facts, and it's on Cinema Blend. That's where I got it from. Thank you, Cinema Blend, for the article. It says, Sony's web continues to grow. I really can't speak today. Untitled Sony/Marvel pick now set for October 8th, 2021. So, of course, that has everyone thinking, what could it possibly be? There are a few options. Venom comes out this year. A lot of people are speculating that Sony may be happy with the direction that they see Andy Serkis is going so far, and maybe Venom comes out, they think it's going to be a hit, and they're ready to churn out another one and have Venom 3 come out on that date, October 8th, 2021. And maybe by that point, you might even see Tom Holland start to interact with these Sony movie characters, because I think that's the future of what they're going to do with Spider-Man. I think they're going to have him still in the MCU, and any stuff he does in the MCU will affect whatever these Sony villain side stories. But anything in these side stories, I do not believe will be affecting anything in the MCU. I don't see Kevin Feige being cool with that. But I think it's interesting that they I'm sure they have. What I think they're doing is building up to a Sinister Six movie, and I don't think Marvel has any interest in doing that. Marvel Studios, I think they have their formula. I don't think they're interested in making a whole villain team-up movie just for Spider-Man. So my speculation is that it's going to be another villain movie to set up another character to eventually down the line have Tom Holland go against team of the Sinister Six, whatever they're planning to do there. So I think that's interesting. A lot of people are talking about it. The article is on Cinema Blend if you want to go give it a read. I thought it was pretty interesting. But yeah, so be on the lookout for that next Sony Spider-Man movie. And I want to know, send me your thoughts. What do you think they're going to do with Spider-Man? Do you think he's going to be in the Marvel Universe for the time being? And like I said, stuff that happens in the MCU will be addressed in these Sony side stories and not the other way around? Or do you think he'll have his two movies on this next deal and then Sony's just going to snatch him up right back and say, all right, we want Spider-Man now. We have our own Spider-Verse set up with all these villains, and now we're going to have Spider-Man come in and fight these villains. I think they should go for the best of both worlds. If Tom Holland's willing to do it, if Marvel's willing to let it happen and Sony's okay with it, let him be in the MCU, let him be in the Sony movies. We can get cool solo Spider-Man stories without it being restricted by any storytelling in the MCU. And then you can still have Spider-Man cross over with all these heroes and be in Avengers movies and be with all these characters that he's around in the comics. So let me know what you would prefer, and let me know what you think is going to happen, and maybe what you think this movie is going to be. I saw in the article they said maybe it was going to be a Black Cat or something, or Sable. I don't know all the Spider-Man villains, but they had a few suggestions in the article. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. So, second thing I wanted to get to, Thor: Love and Thunder, which is actually one of, after seeing Thor Ragnarok and Jojo Rabbit, this is now one of my most anticipated Marvel. Where did this go? Sorry. This is now one of my most anticipated Marvel movies, because Taika Waititi has won me over as a director. He's funny. He knows how to do humor. He knows how to do drama. He knows how to do thriller type things and make you on the edge of your seat. And I think he has the perfect blend of all those things, and he executes it very well, especially in Jojo Rabbit. Everyone should see that movie. It's excellent. But I'm really excited for this movie now. And apparently they just tapped on a new writer. Her name is Jennifer Caton Robinson, and she's going to serve as the co-writer on the film. And it's apparently it's easily the most high-profile project that she's ever worked on. I'm sure she's not going to be getting too much of the load there. I mean, I feel like Taika Waititi seems like a guy who even on set kind of lets his actors spitball a little bit with the humor and the lines. And I'm sure he's obviously going to have a heavy hand in the script. But she seems to be sort of a green writer, if you will, newer into this big budget world. So we'll see how that goes. I don't expect it to her to come in and train wreck the thing just because she's new. I'm sure there's other people involved with the writing. You know, Kevin Feige obviously has a say in the story. There's a bunch of stuff already planned out. Taika Waititi's one of the writers. So we'll see. But, I mean, it's always cool to see a new writer get a chance. Excited to see what she does, and maybe it leads to more opportunities in the future. And, you know, like a lot of people were complaining about the Oscars, that there wasn't enough women nominated for director, women nominated for this and that. And this is a step in the right direction, is actually hiring females or whoever wants to be represented, having these people get hired onto these projects is the real answer. It's not the job of the Oscars to try and make everything equal. Their job is just to award the best of the best. And it's the job of the studios in Hollywood to go out and hire these people so there is more diversity in the pool of the Oscar voters and where they the movies they're picking, if you know what I mean by that. So cool. I haven't seen her other work, but I'm excited to see what she does with this one, especially with Taika Waititi behind the camera. Yeah, Thor Ragnarok was easily the best Thor movie, and it's one of the better Marvel movies. It's hilarious. It's well directed. The action is cool. It's a good story. I think we're going to see a lot of big things from Taika Waititi. I think he's going to be one of those up-and-coming guys. I was very happy that Jojo Rabbit won Adapted Screenplay. I talked about that in my last episode about the Oscars. So that's my thoughts on that. If you guys want to go read into that, just you can look it up. Thor: Love and Thunder, new writer. If you want to check out her other work, see if you're into it. But I'm sure she's not being thrown into the fire and they're asking her, you got to write this whole script, all just you. I'm sure she's part of a team of people, and she's the co-writer, so I'm sure she has a big say. But if anyone's nervous about her coming in, given her lack of previous credentials in this field of superhero movies and big budget movies, I'm sure you don't have to worry. She's writing with Taika Waititi under the guidance of Kevin Feige, who obviously, in terms of Marvel, can do no wrong. So, go check that out. And last thing I want to talk about today, since we were talking about the Oscars just a second ago, Parasite. And I only saw this yesterday. Apparently, it's been rumored for a while or in talks for a while, but apparently HBO is going to make a Parasite series, and which is fucking awesome. And I was reading that Bong Joon-ho said he had on his iPad so many ideas stored on his iPad that he had for Parasite, but he just couldn't possibly fit into a little over 2-hour movie. So he has all these ideas. He wants to make them into a series. What I don't know is if it's going to be just the Parasite story we got and then expanded upon, if it's going to be like the same characters and then expanded upon, or if he's going to hire new actors in those roles as those characters. Because let me give you what the news is first that I brought up before. Apparently Mark Ruffalo, which is why I said Avenger star, our Hulk, is in talks to star in the series. So I don't know if they're taking the characters from Parasite and just making them American and sort of going along with the same storyline, but over the course of a season instead of a movie, and maybe they're Americanizing it for HBO. I don't know. Or if it's supposed to just be the original Parasite story, and then that happened, and then there's other stuff going on that's sort of similar. I don't know. Maybe I didn't read too much into it. I'm sure there's not that much detail about it already, but this sounds awesome to me. I mean, Parasite... Sorry, excuse me. That was disgusting. Parasite was one of easily the best movies I saw all year. It won Best Picture, as we all know. Everyone should go watch it. All the performances were great. And if Bong Joon-ho had more ideas for this that expanded upon this, I think everything could use somewhat not well. Let me backtrack there. Not everything needs to be explained. Not everything needs more detail. Sometimes things are better left up to mystery. But if he had these ideas that he thought fit well into the story and could have made the story better, and enough that he is willing to go make a series about it and is pursuing to make this series, because it doesn't seem like it's HBO going to him like, oh, we loved your movie, can you somehow make a series out of this? No, he had these ideas that he wanted in the movie, and he went to them, and he wants to get this made. So I trust this 100%. If he has ideas to expand upon what he did in Parasite, I'm all for it. I will be there on day one watching it, and everyone else should too. Everyone else should also go watch Parasite. And I actually saw someone make a good point yesterday. If you're going to go watch it, don't go in with like these crazy high expectations that it's the best movie of all time. I'm sure it is to some people, and I think it's a phenomenal movie. But I think going into something that has so much hype, especially after now it just won like 4 major Oscar awards, people are going to go into it thinking it's literally the best thing to ever grace the earth, and that they're going to come out disappointed, because when you set your expectations so high, I think that just leads to disappointment most of the time. Even when something is good, you still get that feeling of it wasn't as good as everyone made it out to be. So go in with good expectations. Don't go in thinking any little flaw or any little thing can't happen in this movie, because it can, and it can happen in every movie. But I highly recommend it. This is awesome news. If Mark Ruffalo's in it, love Mark Ruffalo. He's a great actor, and I'm really interested to see where they go with this. Like I said, I don't know if they're expanding upon the story already, or if it's maybe it's going to be like an anthology type thing where we see these different families sort of pulling off the same thing that the family, and I'm not going to spoil it. I was just about to spoil some stuff, but if you know what I'm talking about, the same way we see the family in the movie, how they're based, the parasites, if you know what I'm saying. I wonder if it's just going to be an anthology of different families sort of going through that and like having a hard time and finding these crazy ways to go about it to act like be able to live, because the family in the movie, they're very poor. They almost like they can barely live in their conditions. So we'll see. But that's awesome news. Coming right off such a great weekend for Bong Joon-ho. I can't wait to hear more stuff about this and see where they go with it. But let me know what you think about it. If you saw Parasite and you liked the movie, let me know what you thought. And let me know what you think of this possible series. Let me know if you think they're just going to be expanding upon the story we got already with those characters and giving us more, or if they're going to turn those characters into, like, if Mark Ruffalo's going to play, I don't remember his real name in the movie, but they would call him Mr. Kim, who was the driver. The dad, is Mark Ruffalo going to be him, that role, and it's going to be an American family? I don't know. We'll see. I kind of hope they don't do that. I hope they I like that it was Korean. I thought it was cool. But I don't make the decisions at HBO. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you for tuning in. As always, if you enjoyed, please hit that subscribe button, and also go check out the Memo Podcast. Put a lot of love and work into that as well. So once again, thanks for tuning in. I will see you guys tomorrow.